saying, Miss Price, is that I don't think donuts is a very festive way to welcome a woman who's come over.
I have better things to do than to stand around and have you criticize my choice of pastry. I did volunteer, you know.
I wasn't criticizing. I was just mentioning that since the lady... Croissants.
Magic? More punch?
Don't get your hopes up, Mr. Kaufman. It's only 2% alcohol.
Do me a favor, will you skim off the 2% and pour it in the glass? Well, what do you think of all the excitement that you and Pete have caused? Wouldn't it be interesting to begin an exchange program for teachers? I must have been out of my head when I agreed to it.
You love the idea, and you know it.
I liked the idea. Liked. That was before I had to wade through 30 pounds of government regulations in triplicate yet. Cheers.
Don't worry. It'll be worth it. Mrs. Hughes sounded fantastic from her letters.
Well, everybody, here she is, Mrs. Dora Hughes. Let's start with...
Oh, Liz, I recognize anywhere. My dear, you're exactly like your letters.
Seymour Kaufman, I'm the one in triplicate. Welcome.
Oh, yes, dear Mr. Kaufman.
Gently, gently.
You've been a darling about the whole thing. Oh, I knew I was going to love it.
Let's start with...
Lloyd Hollis, Chairman, English Department.
An unknown quantity. Tell me all about yourself, Mr. Holland.
The English is supposed to be cold and aloof. She just blew their image. She's a very warm and open woman, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. I don't think Hollis and Miss Price are...
You've been a darling.
Some of the teachers are going to take to her.
Oh, quantity. Tell me all about yourself. Interesting. And I want all your opinions about American morality, Miss Price. For instance, do you believe in premarital relations?
What do you mean exactly?
I think you better get over there before she tells her exactly.
Oh, Mrs. Hughes, excuse me. How would you like to have dinner with Liz and I tonight?
Oh, how lovely. But no way too fancy, love. I'm not really dressed.
Oh, no, just a little out-of-the-way place I discovered.
Liz's place. I'm so happy everything worked out. You're finally here.
I never would have managed it if it hadn't been for you two darlings pulling for me at this end. I do appreciate it. Lovely. But no way too fancy.
Master.
Oh, I'm sure I shall. Who knows? I may want to stay on a little longer. Of course, I would have a little trouble getting around your immigration laws if I did.
Well, you could always marry.
Master.
Oh, I'm sure I shall. Oh, what's Seymour getting around your immigration laws?
Seymour?
Mr. Kaufman. Oh, please forgive me. I call everybody by his first name. It was the way we did it at our school back home. Everybody was on a first-name basis with everybody else, students and teachers alike.
I'm not sure they're quite ready for that here at Whitman, Mrs. Hughes.
Dora, please. Well, Pete, what happens at one school can happen at another. A school is a school, whether it's in England or America.
Not necessarily. But that's one of the reasons you're here, isn't it? To show our students there are many ways to do things.
And you've got so much to give. I could feel it even in your letters. You have such enthusiasm for teaching.
Well, there's nothing like it, is there? The burst of excitement you feel when you know you've made contact, awakened something. Oh, please interrupt me. I'm talking about my favorite subject again, love.
Ours, too. You know, Dora, Whitman isn't the most progressive school in the world, but I think you'll find it interesting teaching here.
Interesting. I'm sure I'll find it fascinating.
I'll show you to your room, Mrs. Hughes. Now, you must remember when the bell sounds, that signals the end of the period, of course. Now, don't forget, in your creative writing class, the seating plan is already posted. Now, the attendance sheets are to be initialed, but not signed. The health slips are to be signed, but not initialed. And on these pink duplicate registration blanks, you must make sure it goes through the card.
Oh, aren't students amazing? Give them different accents and they could be the same ones I just left in Chelsea.
Mrs. Hughes, were you listening?
Oh, yes. Sign.
Initial.
Oh, yes. Initial, sign, Guthrie Carver. Oh, well, here we are, room 312. Thank you so much, Lloyd. Good morning, everybody.
Excuse me. The seating chart puts me behind Jason. I was wondering if I could change. If I sit back there, the only thing I'll see is the back of his head.
Oh, by all means, love, sit wherever you want. Oh, and the rest of you, too. Sit wherever you please. Change every day if you want to. It might help us to get new perspectives on things.
You mean it?
Well, of course I do. Now sit wherever you like, love. As long as you'll be happy. Now, is everybody happy? Good. I'm Dora Hughes. And if it's all right with you, let's not start right in with all that calling out of the names business. It's far too impersonal. In time, I'll get to know what your names are and who you are. Yes? You're,
Helen Loomis. Mrs. Hughes, if you don't know our names, how can you take attendance?
attendant. Oh, dear, yes, that was that blue sheet here, wasn't it? Now, where is that? All right, then. Is everybody here who is supposed to be here?
I think so.
Good. Attendance done. Oh, yes, you're,
Rhoda Zagor. I left my notebook in my locker. Could I go and get it? You know, for when you give out assignments.
Oh, I'm not going to be giving out any assignments in this class, Rhoda. No, I'd much rather have us just talk to each other about writing, about ideas, about words. Then when you feel you want to say something, well, work it out on a piece of paper and show it to me.
But I don't understand. You mean there aren't going to be any rules in this class?
Not at all. There are two rules. First, I don't want any more talk about rules. And second, only show me the writing that you like yourself. Now, I don't care what it is. An essay, a short story, a sequel to War and Peace, some poems.
Poems?
Apparently, love, you don't think poetry has a place in your life.
It don't exactly turn me on, neither.
I see. Poetry was perfectly all right way back in the 18th century someplace for someone who... Excuse me. You're really terribly bored, aren't you?
What?
There's nothing worse than to feel that you're forced to be someplace you don't want to be. Please feel free to leave.
Huh?
I said, feel free to leave. If any of you want to go, please leave. Come back whenever you feel like it.
You mean I can just split?
Split? I like that. Now then, where were we? Oh, yes. I know, we were talking about poets being hopelessly out of date and old-fashioned. But are they? You know, I'll bet you've memorized a lot of marvelous poetry.
Teacher, you have the wrong man.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains.
Within the sound of silence. But that's a song from Simon and Garfunkel.
Right. Simon and Garfunkel, Lennon and McCartney, Jim Webb. Well, they're all craftsmen with as much genius as the poets that we're going to be talking about. Now, take the phrase, the sound of silence. Yes, sir.
I always wondered about that. I was never sure how silence could have a sound.
That's the point of the whole thing. See, even though there's sounds all around us, there's no...
Communication?
Right. Everybody's talking and nobody's listening. So it's actually the same as silence.
Mr. Kaufman, all the first period kids are still in her room. And the second period kids are jammed up in the hallway, 2 and 3 deep. It's impossible.
Hollowed out. Oh, that's perfect. Like the hollow sound in the phrase, all the lonely people, where do they all come from?
Excuse me, Mrs. Hughes. Folks, we seem to be having a little trouble with the bells today. Would you all go to your next class, please?
Now, darlings, think of Eleanor Rigby. Think if you know any Eleanors in your life.
All right, folks, come on in. Take your seats. Let's move along, please. Mrs. Hughes,
Yes.
may I speak to you a moment, please?
Oh, certainly. Yes. Coming.
All right, let's move along, folks. Move along. We're not going to get an education in the halls.
Oh,
Let's
the
go.
lonely people. Where do they all come from? What a haunting phrase that is.
Yes, well, we must get together and discuss the relative merits of song lyrics one of these days, Mrs. Hughes. But right now, I'd like to know about all these students that were piled up in the hall. Did you hear the bell?
Well, I suppose I did. But we were on to something really stimulating. I thought that was much more important.
Oh, it's wonderful. Mrs. Hughes, I know you're accustomed to a different system than we use here, but bells are very important in a school this size. Please try to observe them.
I will, Seymour.
Yes, well, all right.
Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, yes. We also send in attendance sheets.
Yes, attendance sheets.
Small thing.
And moreover, we have a lesson plan which does not include the Beatles, Mrs. Hughes.
Dora, please. I have my own lesson plan. The students decide what they feel like writing.
Your students decide. That's not what we do here.
You should try it then, Lloyd. Did you see? Students can't possibly create anything until they've opened up to the joy of learning. The writing will come. Have you ever really listened to the Beatles, Lloyd?
Not if I could help it. I'm not exactly a rock and roll fan.
Simon and Garfunkel?
Well, Mr. Dixon, I suppose you've heard about the crisis your friend Mrs. Hughes has created for us.
Are you sure she's the one who's creating the crisis?
I suppose I am. No regard for schedules or regulations, no lesson plan, students jamming the hallways, total chaos.
Oh, come on. Don't you think we can handle this situation without falling apart?
You know what she calls me?
No, what?
Lloyd.
It could be worse.
Listen, I've got to get to my analyst appointment. Is there going to be some kind of a vote taken?
Vote? Why should we take a vote?
Oh, I thought there was going to be some kind of a vote taken.
No, there's not going to be a vote.
Mr. Kaufman, we have a very serious problem here. What do you intend doing about it?
Listen, just in case there is some sort of a vote here,
Yes, Mr. Weisgarten. What?
put me down with the majority.
Mr. Kaufman, I will say it again. What do you intend to do about this?
Hold on. Slow down. Aren't you being a little rough on her?
Oh, yeah, of course, you will defend her. You're one of the ones responsible for bringing her here in the first place.
All I'm trying to say is, why don't you spend less time talking about her and just a little more time talking with her?
I would like to, but who can get a word in edgewise?
All right, now, come on, everybody. Now, let's settle down. People are debating. People are talking about voting. Now, let's get one thing straight. A high school is not a democracy. A high school is a benevolent dictatorship. Now, why don't you all listen to your benevolent dictator? Now, give the woman a chance. She's missed a few bells and her methods are a little bit different. But after all, what's she really done?
Mr. Kaufman, do you have any idea what happened to room 312?
Well, just taking a stab in the dark, I'd say it was still right up there next to 313.
No, the class. The entire class is missing.
And so, as my career as a dictator sinks slowly into the West,
My treat.
greetings.
Mr. Kaufman?
I suppose you're not wondering why I called you here.
You're right. We figured it out. Mrs. Hughes?
More teachers complaining?
Well, not more, but the ones that are suddenly seem to have a lot of drag with the Board of Education. In the last few hours, the phrase disruptive influence has gained vibrant new meaning around here.
Do you think she's a disruptive influence?
Look, I like the woman. I love the way the kids respond to her. I love her enthusiasm. All right, she's a little unorthodox, slightly disorganized, but disruptive influence? Yes.
How can you say that? She's getting through to kids nobody's been able to reach before.
Oh, there's no question about her ability to teach. But the fact is that this brilliant teacher happens to be a kooky lady who's antagonized a lot of people. Now, I've defended her right up to the wall, but frankly, I'm running out of ammunition.
What are you going to do?
Well, if you mean, am I going to throw her out in the cold with snowflakes on her eyelashes? No. This time of the year, she probably tanned to death.
You still haven't told us what you're going to do.
Well, you see, if I talk to her, it's going to look like I'm threatening her. But if she were to hear the same thing from friends, perhaps I'm being too subtle. Let me put it another way. I'm asking you two to do my dirty work for me.
Well, I guess we should be the ones to talk to her.
Good. Thanks.
This weekend might not be a bad time. Some of the kids mentioned a picnic. She'll be there. We could talk to her then.
Yeah, she probably would take it better coming from us.
You really believe that?
No.
Hi, Mr. Dixon. Miss McIntyre. You be here next week, too?
Next week.
Hey, do you do this every week?
Oh, yes, we never felt there was enough time to cover everything we want to talk about in class.
I don't believe it. There are kids here who we had to hold at gunpoint to get them in class.
Which makes what I have to say a lot tougher.
I felt there was something troubling you ever since you arrived.
Last thing I ever expected to hear myself talking about was rules, regulations.
Oh, dear, I do seem to have trouble with those, don't I?
But the school has to be run that way.
But why are you two talking to me about this? You're not in trouble because of me, are you?
No.
But then I must be in trouble, mustn't I? But it can't be too serious. In time, they'll adjust to my methods.
But there isn't any time. There's already a lot of pressure.
I see. Either I change or I go, is that it? I'm not sure I can change.
We're not asking you to change.
You're too good a teacher for us to tell you what to do.
And there's got to be a way for a teacher as good as you to be able to function within this system.
There is. If you can do it, I can try.
Hey, come on, everybody. Soup's on.
I am too. I can eat buttered bread.
Mrs. Hughes, I finished that thing I told you about. I don't know what else to call it. It's half poetry and half, oh, I don't know what, but it's done. I hope you like it.
Do you like it, Ellen?
Oh, I love it, but I'm prejudiced.
Oh, thank you. Take your seats, everyone. Roger, would you come here, please? Take attendance, please, Roger.
Take attendance.
Yes, Roger.
We're going to start taking attendance?
Yes, Roger. Oh, and class, while Roger's doing that, take out your notebooks and take down today's assignment.
You mean an assignment? Like a regular, you tell us what the topic is and we write a composition on it?
That's exactly what I mean, dear. No talking, please. Well, the bell is about to go. You can finish up tomorrow. Oh, and class, starting tomorrow, you'll all be sitting in permanent seats.
Mrs. Hughes, I thought we were supposed to sit in different seats each day in order to see things from different perspectives.
Well, starting tomorrow, you'll be seeing things from one perspective, love. One perspective.
It's hard to conform, they don't know you. If they knew you, would they try? The love in your heart touched a small few. Now you must go.
Tell Mr. Kaufman I would like to speak to him, please.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. Hollis.
Why are you all so glum? Oh, of course, today's the day she's leaving, isn't it?
You mean you don't have it marked in red on your calendar?
Nice of you to come down, Hollis. You gonna play a little old Lang Syne on your pitch pipe?
Now, why am I getting all this? After all, the woman resigned. She just couldn't cut it here.
If you think she couldn't cut it, look at these. Some of her students' papers. As head of the department, they're your responsibility now.
I'll pass them on to her replacement.
You're not in the least bit curious, are you?
Not specially.
Don't you care about anything beside missed schedules and broken rules? That's the sum total of Mrs. Hughes?
Are you trying to tell me she didn't disrupt the whole school?
Of course she did. But there's more to her than that. I've read those.
I have too. Why don't you take the time?
Why do you two keep harping on that? I have read thousands of papers. What's so special about these?
Mr. Hollis, they happen to be good writing. A little undisciplined, sure. A little rough, sure. But they're original. Open, honest. Okay, so she couldn't make it here at Whitman. But there was a creative spark somewhere in that chaos. And it was great to see it happen in the kid's handwriting. How about it?
Hello, darlings. I just dropped in to say my last goodbye.
Well, Mrs. Hughes, I'm sure I speak for the whole department when I say we're sorry to see you go.
My dear Lord, why on earth do you say things you don't really mean? You're not sorry at all. You're absolutely delighted that things can return to the status quo, now aren't you? Darling, everybody can't be like everybody else. Now, can they? Wouldn't it be a dull old world if they could? Oh, I see you have my students' papers.
Yes. Thought I'd take them home tonight and read them.
Really, Lloyd?
I said I'd read them. I will read them. I am the head of the department.
Isn't that fine? Isn't that just fine? You will write, won't you?
I will, Dora. In triplicate.
Oh, Seymour.
Huh? Never mind.
Goodbye. Come on.
I can hardly believe it. Hollis giving in.
Well, he agreed to read them, that's all.
Well, at least that's the beginning.
Just the bare glimmer of the beginning, my dear. Oh, such a pity I have a plane to catch.
What do you mean?
I was just wondering what would have happened if I'd had a little bit more time with him. Let's see, I could have brought the conversation around to attendance sheets.
Tell me again, Mr. Hollis. I keep forgetting.
Oh, Mr. Hollis, excuse me. I got the compositions you left on my desk. Did you get a chance to read them?
I read them.
What did you think?
A lot of misspellings, Mr. Dixon. A lot of misspellings.
That's it?
As the lady said, not everybody is alike. That's about the size of it.
Well, thanks for looking them over. Sorry I bothered you.
Tell me again what that fellow's name is, Mr. Hollis.
What fellow?
You know, the one you wanted me to listen to. Now, what did you say his name was? Simon Garfunkel?
They look more like a couple of kids than like chaperones.
Duncan's the only teacher in this school who makes Alice look mature.
Hey, what's the matter with him?
He's too groovy for his own good.
Well, maybe he tries a little too hard, but he's all right.
Tries hard. Honey, he is so in, he's out. You know what he calls me? Brother.
Thank you. Now, according to the Musicians Union and the child labor laws, the band had to take a break now. So you just have to settle for records by some inferior groups like Beatles, Stones, and other unknowns.
Now listen, about Duncan.
Let's drop it. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Hey, who don't you want to talk about anymore? Roger Duncan. Oh, I think he's cute.
Cute.
The way he handles the students and everything. He never talks down to them. He always talks on their level.
He doesn't talk to them. He calls it rapping.
Still think he's cute. He reminds me of a Tiffany lamp.
I can't explain what you just said, but I think you're outnumbered.
I just don't understand what you don't like about him.
Whatever happened to the good old days when you could dislike whoever you wanted without an explanation? Let's dance.
Sure, brother.
So when's your next gig?
Well, it's been about another month now, you know.
Where will that be?
It's down that street somewhere. You make a
Hey, what's
right.
happening, Dan?
You don't know.
Fred?
Well, it'll be about 7:38. If you want to, you can ride up with me.
Groovy dance, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey, Richie, your band is really laying down some heavy sounds. Too much.
Well, we do our best.
I used to play in a band myself. In college, it was a pretty big group.
What you play?
Oh, well, a drum.
Oh, you play drums.
No, just drum. Bass drum. The Atlantic State University marching band. You know, half times. But we played some pretty groovy numbers.
I bet you cats spelled out some pretty heavy words.
No, I'll catch you later.
You know what bugs me?
What's that?
It's for a man old enough to be my father call me Dad.
What did you want to talk to me about?
Yes. Well, you seem like a very groovy chick. My kind of people. And, well, there's this Aretha Franklin concert next weekend.
Are you asking me to go with you?
Well, I guess so. Yes, in fact, that's what I'm doing.
I appreciate the fact that you're being so straightforward about it.
I like to be upfront.
I'm sorry, Roger, but Pete and I, sort of have a thing going.
Oh, I knew you two saw each other, but I didn't know you had a thing going. Hey, I wouldn't want Pete to think I'm trying to move in on his woman.
Oh, I'm sure he won't.
Oh, I better have a talk with him anyway, man to man.
It doesn't matter, really. I don't think it's necessary.
No, it's best to be upfront.
Richie, if you ever need another singer for your group, I'm available.
I remember that. The fellows in my group got to play something, too.
Well, I have been known to play a little guitar.
The next time I schedule an audition, I'll let you know.
Hey, brother, can I see you for a minute?
Yeah, what is it, Duncan? Excuse me.
Pete, I just stepped on your turf, man. I gotta tell it like it is.
Turf? What turf?
I just asked Liz for a date. I didn't know you two had a thing going. You're not mad, are you?
Is she going out with you?
No.
Then I'm not mad.
Hey, you're beautiful. Hey, listen, maybe you know a chick you could fix me up with.
No, sorry.
Well, maybe a girl from your neighborhood. Do you have a sister?
No, I don't. But I do know a chick. Just what you're looking for. She digs you.
Really? No kidding.
And you could probably take her home right after the dance.
She's here. You mean she teaches here? Oh, I got it. What's her name? The black studies teacher?
She's right over there.
Alice? But she's, great. Groovy. No, thanks.
Anytime, brother.
What are you doing? Frisking you for pot. I know all about you musicians. I used to play drum myself.
I don't smoke.
Oh, come on. You can be straight with me. That's the cool part about chaperoning these gigs. Anything I find, I can keep.
I bet you really do. Wow, you're really a groovy teacher. I mean, you're the only teacher in school who's turned on and tuned in.
One more time. The opposing armies stood facing each other. Then they just fired away, point blank. That's one of the reasons the British were defeated. It seems as though the American revolutionaries didn't play fair. They hid behind rocks, trees, or whatever they could find.
You mean them dudes invented guerrilla warfare?
Not exactly. It was a little trick they picked up from the Indians.
That's something the Indians live to regret.
Pete, can I talk to you a minute? I've just heard something about the dance Friday night, and if it's true, we're going to have to get chaperones for the chaperones.
What do you mean?
Our little old pot smoker, Duncan. Is it true he was asking kids for marijuana?
Oh, no. He was just joking with the kid. I don't think the kid took him serious. Just showing off. You know how he is.
Well, that's what I thought. He's not really the type to be a hothead. I've seen him get giggly sucking on a menthol cough drop. But I'm still going to have a little talk with him for his own good. He'd be in real trouble if anybody believed him.
Not much worry about that.
Why would you tell kids that you smoke marijuana? You don't, do you?
No, I don't. Honest. If you don't believe me, you can look at my eyes.
Oh, I don't want to look in your eyes. But why would you say that to a kid?
I was just kidding. A friendly joke.
Look, these kids have plenty of friends. What they need are teachers. Teachers they can look up to.
I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. I didn't mean to.
Well, don't say it like that. You make me feel like a rat.
I'm sorry. You're just doing your job.
Look, Duncan, please, don't let this happen again. If a thing like this ever gets back to the school board or the parents, you might not only lose your job, you might find it very difficult to get another one.
Now, this is a class on government, dig? But the heaviest thing I can impress on you is that government isn't something that can't change. It changes as the times and the peoples need change. That's why it's so important for us to understand what laws are being passed. Now, just because we make a law doesn't mean it's a groovy thing. Prohibition. Man, prohibition is the classic example. It caused crime. I mean, it was against the law to take a drink. Can you dig it?
Dig it. Groovy, heavy, man. Wow. Let's put him on. Mr. Duncan.
Yes?
Are we having prohibition right now?
What do you mean?
Well, it seems like the marijuana laws are the same thing.
Oh, no, you're not going to drag me into that one, man.
Why not? You said law affects us all. Why can't we discuss it? It's our right.
Well, to be really upfront, I'm in hot water with the administration right now about my liberal thinking.
About marijuana laws?
I'll plead the fifth on that one. It strikes pretty close to home.
Hey, Mr. Duncan, are you telling us that you turn on?
I didn't say that.
I didn't think so.
Now, I didn't say I did or if I didn't. Let me put it this way. It's cool to do your own thing, but it's not always cool to talk about it. Are you hip? Now, let's get back to what we were rapping about. If a law isn't cool, what
Let me
can
have one
we
of your
do about it?
sunglass cleaner things, okay?
What are you going to do with that?
The biggest put on
No,
of
you're
all.
wrong, man. The individual
What are you doing?
citizen
They give Mr. Duncan his first marijuana cigarette. Oh, man, you're crazy. First place to look. Man, I gotta talk to you.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing? You come in here shaking like a turkey on Thanksgiving and nothing's wrong.
Pete, I have a problem. Sometimes I'm just too groovy for my own good.
Is that right?
I'm in a weird position. One of my students just gave me a marijuana cigarette. Don't you want to know who?
Okay, who?
I don't know who.
Duncan. Oh, Duncan.
Well, I think I know, but I'm not sure. I just found it laying on my desk. Oh, wow. I remember when they used to give teachers an apple.
Where is it?
Well, I hid it. It's locked in my desk. Nothing like this ever happened to me before. It's a trip.
Just calm down now. Take it easy. Now, why did the student give you marijuana?
How would I know?
Get off it. There had to be a reason.
Okay, I was talking about prohibition, and the kids compared it to marijuana laws.
Duncan, you didn't say you smoked marijuana again.
Of course not. But it's possible they got that impression.
They didn't get that impression unless you gave it to them. How can you be so stupid? Mr. Kaufman just got through chewing you out for that.
No harm was done. And come on, man, we both know there's nothing wrong with marijuana.
You know that, but I don't. Besides, the kid can go to jail for 2 years for using it.
Ah, the marijuana laws are way out of line.
Tell that to a kid who's sitting in jail and see if it makes him feel any better.
Look, brother.
And you call me brother one more time and I'll... Look, you don't encourage your students to drink, do you?
No.
Or smoke cigarettes?
No.
Or take tranquilizers?
No.
Well, then it follows that you shouldn't encourage them to smoke grass.
But I didn't encourage them.
You set the example. What happens if one of them tries it because you said you tried it? Suppose he gets busted and goes to jail. How cool do you think you'll be then, Mr. Duncan? How cool?
Not very cool. Pete, what should I do?
You've got two choices. You can take that cigarette, throw it away, and forget about the whole thing. Or go to Mr. Kaufman, tell him what happened, and hope he doesn't fire you.
I hate multiple choice.
I can't tell you what to do. That's something you'll just have to work out for yourself.
Okay. I'll do it. Do what? I'll take the marijuana out of my desk. Then I'll either take it to Kaufman or throw it away.
strange bookmark you use, Mr. Duncan. The other teacher who shares your classroom was looking for some papers in your desk and found that. Now, I want to know where you got that, and I want to know now.
I can explain it.
I hope so. Because despite the fact that you pretend to be some kind of a hippie pothead, I sort of like you. I think you're a good teacher.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. I may have to fire you.
You mean that rumor is true?
He's in Kaufman's office now.
Who's in Kaufman's office?
Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Duncan? In Mr. Kaufman's office? Why? Who'd be knocking at the door of the teacher's lounge?
Somebody who's not a teacher. Come in. It's all right, Bernie. Come on in.
Bernie, aren't you supposed to be in class now?
I ditched it. I had to find out if the rumor about Mr. Duncan is true.
Well, he's in talking to Mr. Kaufman, if that's what you mean.
It's about some marijuana, isn't it?
Marijuana? Well, he wouldn't use marijuana.
What do you know about this, Bernie?
It's not marijuana.
See?
How do you know that?
Because I put it on his desk. It's just some pencil shavings rolled up in a piece of paper. I didn't mean to get him in trouble.
Why'd you do it?
The class was putting him on. We got him talking about marijuana because we knew he tried to act cool and hip. But everybody knows he's a phony.
And you left it on his desk as part of your big put-on. You're really a gas, Bernie.
Everybody puts him on, Mr. Dixon. Even you. Remember when you put him on at the dance?
Yeah, I did. I guess I can be pretty funny, too.
Bernie, why don't you go back to class now? I'll give you a note to get in.
Boy, this is the first time I've ever been in the teacher's lounge. It sure isn't much.
There is only one way you can get off the hook. Tell me who did it.
I can't. I told you I don't know.
But you must have a pretty good idea.
I think I know. I'm not sure.
Who?
I have no proof. I can't accuse a kid who may be innocent just to get my head off the chopping block. I'm not that irresponsible.
Excuse me.
Pete, did it ever occur to you to knock on the door so I can tell you not to come in?
This the evidence?
Yes, please.
I don't think Mr. Duncan can get into too much trouble for the possession of pencil shavings.
Pencil shaving.
Pencil shavings?
They do look... How did you know?
The kid who left it on his desk told me. It was a put-on, a practical joke.
A joke?
Oh, boy, some joke. Well, I guess that clears that up. Duncan, I hope I don't have to say stop this nonsense or that's going to be it.
Can I go now?
Yes. Now, which kid did it? He's going to spend the rest of his life in detention.
Don't punish the kid. I did it to myself.
What's the matter with him? Sounds like he wished it was marijuana.
In a way, I think he did. You want to talk about it?
The whole class was in on it. They set me up. The kids saw it, and I didn't realize it till right now. And I'm a phony.
Sometimes you come on like one.
Wow, I am a phony.
You don't have to be. You have an option. You can be honest. Not up front, not telling it like it is. Just honest.
Can't go back to that classroom.
Those kids aren't putting you down.
Well, they're not, huh?
They're putting down that character you've been playing, Mr. Hip, the one who they don't like. Give it a try. You can be pretty understanding if you give him a chance.
Have you ever been in a position like this?
No.
Then how do you know what it's like?
Duncan.
Just quit following me, will you? I'd like to be able to go where I'm going by myself.
So where you going?
I don't know.
Good morning. Would you please take your seats? I think most of you know me. I'm Mr. Dixon. A substitute teacher is coming, so I'll only be here a few minutes.
Where's Mr. Duncan?
He won't be here today. Look, I think there's something I should talk to all of you about.
Why isn't Mr. Duncan here? They didn't fire him, did they?
No, they didn't.
We all feel bad about what happened.
Well, I think there's something you should know. Mr. Duncan could have gotten himself off the hook by telling which student was responsible for that little joke. He had an idea, but he didn't want to get anybody in trouble. He didn't even mention the fact that all of you had something to do with it.
I'll handle it from here on, Mr. Dixon. I decided I wasn't sick after all. I just had a case of the 24-hour cold feet. Hey, that was supposed to be a joke. I'm trying to show you I could put myself on, too.
I'm glad you're back.
You were telling the kids what a hero I am. Well, I want to set that straight. I wasn't being heroic or noble. I wasn't sure who gave me the stuff, and that's why I didn't name anyone. If I had known, I don't know what I might have done. Now, Pete, if you don't mind, wish you'd get out of here. I'd like to get this class started.
Take care.
You all made one very serious mistake yesterday. You know what that mistake was? You should have stuck around to catch the expression on my face when I found that thing. When I saw that, I almost died of terminal fear. I just knew that 96 policemen were gonna bust in that door any second.
Well, his students seem to have a lot more respect for him. He hasn't called me brother all week.
Are you talking about Duncan?
He's been a different person lately.
I wonder if he's different or if he's just gone underground. His copy of You Gotta Have Soul is 3 weeks overdue at the library.
Hey, here's an item of interest. Remember that time when a lot of people were smoking banana peelings?
You know, what are they smoking now, apple cores?
No. Pencil shavings. forget where your parking space is?
No, I parked about a mile west of it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it's my doctor. He says I need the exercise. You ought to see him. He offered his body to science. They turned him down.
I think the walking will do you good anyway.
Listen, I figure if the good Lord had wanted principals to walk, he wouldn't have given them reserved parking spaces. Hey, you have a qualification to teach English, don't you?
Right. Oh, you plan on giving me a course next semester?
Why wait that long? You know Mrs. Lanahan?
Lanahan. Oh, the older lady.
When she started teaching remedial reading, she was referred to as the younger lady. She's a nice person, but it's just not working out.
What's the problem?
Well, she's got a very difficult group there. I mean, those kids are so far behind in their reading, they think school's a four-letter word.
I've had kids like that in some of my classes.
They're just killing time, waiting to go out into a world that they're totally unprepared for. So, why don't you just sit in on her class today and look the situation over?
Sure. But why me?
Well, you're an understanding person, you're an excellent teacher, and you're the biggest one available.
Mrs. Lanahan need a bodyguard?
All right. Who wants to start us off by reading today? Bob?
Me? You want me to read?
Page 16.
I forgot my book.
Well, here, you can use mine.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, pal.
We're waiting, Bob.
You want me to read this story here, this dumb-looking turkey on it?
That turkey's probably a lot smarter than us. He ain't sitting in this class.
Tony, if you continue making jokes, you'll get a poor grade for the day.
Oh, gee.
Proceed, Bob.
A Christmas turkey. My uncle's present came in a big sack, and it was
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Tony.
Huh? What?
Hey, if I'm boring you, man, just let me know.
You're boring me.
Yeah, come to think of it, I'm bored myself. You better get somebody else to teach.
Michael.
Let me have my book with you.
I'm just getting interested. What?
My uncle's present came in a big sack, and it was hilarious to see it wiggling. When we opened it, you'll never guess what was inside.
A girl.
A turkey.
Come on, man. Hurry up and get to the sexy part.
One more remark and you'll be sent to Mr. Kaufman's office. Just because you're not trying, you mustn't stop other people. Continue, Michael.
We decided to name him
Gobbler.
Gobbler.
Hey, he's pretty good, isn't he? Yeah, he can't read. He's just making it up as he goes along.
You see, Alice, most of these kids have given up trying to read.
They start falling behind in the first or second grade. Then they lose interest. Every year they fall further and further behind.
Well, why don't the teachers do something to help?
You can't expect the teachers to give the kids individual attention in classes that are too big anyway.
Besides, the system says everyone has to keep going on from grade to grade regardless of ability. Anyone who reaches age 16 has to go on to high school whether he's ready or not.
Well, that makes school like a factory assembly line.
It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't capable of so much more.
Yeah, some of those kids could be at least average students, and some of them well above average.
Pete. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mr. Kaufman. Hey, aren't you going to have lunch with us today?
I'd love to, but my doctor says I've got to have salad for lunch 2 days a week. I can't stand to watch people eating solid food. Would you take a look at that class?
Yes.
Gonna take it?
I'll take it.
Great. Oh, will you come by my office after school?
Why? You want to talk about that class some more?
No, I want you to give me a lift to my car.
I think it's wonderful you're taking over the class, Pete.
I'd think it was wonderful, too, if I knew what I was going to do with it. One thing for certain, grades don't matter to them.
Well, can't their parents help?
These kids are from poor families,
Most of the parents don't do much reading themselves.
which will make it even tougher to motivate those kids.
Aw, I'm sure you'll inspire him, Pete.
What do you think's prettier? Our old teacher or the new one?
You want to repeat what was so funny, Tony?
No.
Well, since you're so anxious to talk, why don't you read for us?
If I could read, I wouldn't be here.
Go on and give him an F, Teach.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil my perfect record.
Tony, by the end of the semester, you're going to be reading.
You want to bet?
Mm-hmm. Bob, read the paragraph at the top of page 18.
I forgot my glasses.
The only glasses you got is the one your old man drinks his booze out of.
You read it.
I don't want to read it.
What's the matter? Too tough for you?
No. I can read it if I want to. I don't want to.
If I give you an A, will you read it?
You could give me an X, 2 Q's, and a Z if you want. I don't care nothing about those letters, man.
If I give you this, will you read it?
You'll pay me?
If you read. Page 18.
The dance. It was a
Thursday.
Thursday, and Fred didn't have a date.
Fred
didn't have a date for the big school dance. He
wondered.
This is a lousy story.
Read it, Jack. He wondered if
he would ever find enough
courage.
Courage to ask Linda. She was the prettiest and the most popular girl in his English class.
He can't read. That ain't worth no 50 cents.
You shut up.
Shut up.
Then he was surprised to see her smiling at him.
It's good, Jack.
It's mine?
It's yours.
$1 even.
Oh, Liz, can I borrow $1? Thank you.
Thank you.
My mother warned me about guys like you.
Well, I had an unexpected expense.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, Alice. How are you?
How'd the reading class go today?
Oh, very well.
You mean you actually got those kids to read for you?
Sure. As a matter of fact, they were fighting for a chance to read.
What'd you use, hypnosis?
I told you he would do it.
What'd you say to him?
Nothing special.
Come on, Pete. Don't be so modest.
Tell us the secret.
I paid them.
Why'd you do that, Pete?
Because they wouldn't respond to anything else. I just wanted to see if the money would work.
So it worked. So what do you do for an encore?
Well, I don't know yet.
Are you going to continue to pay them?
Not on a teacher's salary. But I gotta find some way to keep it going.
Why don't you start printing up your own money?
Oh, sure. Open my own mint and turn out Walt Whitman dollars, right?
Hey, that's a terrific idea. Look, we can use the print shop and put Mr. Kaufman's picture on the front. It's just a thought.
It wouldn't work, Alice. Those kids are not gonna go for money that isn't worth anything.
Well, what if we could redeem it for something they could use?
Like real money. Look, anything that's worth something costs money.
Unless you make it yourself. Pete, do you think those kids would value the money if it could buy, homemade cakes?
I'm not sure. But it might be worth a try.
We can get Jason to design the plates for the money. Now, how do you want Mr. Kaufman's picture? Full face or profile?
Knowing Jason, I would not use Mr. Kaufman. See what kind of job he can do on Walt Whitman.
Last period, a student asked me for $50 to do his assignment.
Well, can't blame him for trying.
I asked him where he got the idea, and he told me Mr. Dixon paid him to do his work.
Pete Dixon, are you sure?
I checked the story before coming to you.
Now, look, Mrs. Lund, Pete Dixon is one of our finest teachers. He's really dedicated to doing the best job that he can. Now, if he paid a student to do schoolwork, he paid a student?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that if he paid a student to do schoolwork, he must have had a perfectly valid reason for doing it.
What reason?
Well, frankly, I can't think of one.
Start, Mr. Dixon?
Well, let's wait until the bell rings.
You call on me twice a day? You see, I'm trying to save up enough money to get the new Beatles out.
Chocolate cake? Donuts? Can we watch?
I think you've earned that right.
How about me? I'm ready. How about you, Mr. Dixon? I'm ready. Try me. Hey, you didn't call on me yesterday.
I want to talk to you before we start reading. From now on, I'm going to be paying you with these. Walt Whitman $10 bills.
Can I see one of those?
Sure.
Whose picture is that?
Walt Whitman's.
You mean you're not going to pay us with real money anymore?
If I did, I'd be bankrupt.
What are we supposed to do with that funny money?
Here's how it operates. You get paid according to how much and how well you work. Reading in class can be worth $20. A homework assignment, $40. And a book report can earn up to $75.
Yeah, and we can use it for wallpaper.
If you want. But there are other uses for your Whitman dollars. Like this. The Miss McIntyre Devil's Food Cake. You know, men have killed for less than this, and you can earn it just by working in class.
How many Whitman dollars does it cost?
Goes to the highest bidder.
So the one with the most money has the best chance.
And there are other baked goodies, too. Like the famous Alice Johnson donut.
I didn't know you made such great donuts. I don't. I bought them at the bakery.
All right. Who's going to be the first one to earn their Whitman dollars? Bob, turn to page 22.
Would you tell Pete to see me in my office after class, please?
I will.
But why money, Pete?
Because I wanted to reach him.
Yes, well, couldn't you have used something a little less controversial?
For example?
Well, for example, grades, like we've been using for the last 100 years.
Grades don't mean anything to these kids. All they hear is get enough A's and B's and you'll go to college. Not one of these kids has any intention of going to college. The only thing they understand is what's happening to them right now.
So you're using psychological conditioning. Do the job, ring the bell, get the reward.
Exactly. But instead of using grades, I'm substituting a reward they'll appreciate.
But don't you see, Pete, that's what bothers me about this thing. I mean, let's face it, you're bribing the kids to do their work.
Well, I prefer to think of it as motivation.
But the motivation is materialism. I mean, after a while, they won't want to do anything unless it's for money.
I'm not teaching them to be materialistic. I am teaching them how to use it so they can educate themselves.
Yes, but you're emphasizing money. I mean, if we're going to emphasize money, why don't we just start a course in hustling and loan sharking?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
That's not a... Pete, that's a horrible idea.
The kids can learn to make money with their money. Oh, I don't mean hustling or loan sharking, but something legitimate like real estate or the stock market.
Wait, hold it. Wait a minute. Real estate? I haven't even okayed the original proposal.
Is it okay?
Oh, boy, look, I'll be honest. My gut reaction is no. I've been on this diet so long, I don't trust my gut anymore. Okay. I'm willing to give it a try.
Thanks.
You know, we're going to be hearing from Mrs. Lund. She's threatened to take a complaint to the superintendent in charge of curriculum.
Anyway, thanks for the idea about the stock market.
Do me a favor, will you? Don't tell anybody where you got that great idea.
I wouldn't buy ours right now.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Well, I'm pretty
Yeah,
busy.
well, it's very important. It's very important. Just take a second. He'll be right back. Listen, old buddy. What do you say we arrange a little loan?
What do you mean, old buddy? You were always making fun of me.
How did I know? I couldn't even read.
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, Mrs. Lund.
Mr. Dixon, I'd like to sit in on your class and observe. Would you mind?
No, not at all. Take a seat anywhere.
Thank you.
We're going to have a stock market buy and sell period. Mrs. Lund, some of the students have studied 10 companies. They've bought shares. Now they're going to trade the stocks back and forth among themselves. All right? Who made the most Walt Whitman dollars yesterday?
I made 170.
I made 220.
I made 290.
Anybody make more than that? How'd you do it, Michael?
I bought technical research and it went up.
Why'd you buy it?
Well, I read in the newspaper where they discovered a new process for water purification.
Now we'll have a 10-minute stock market session. Who's got something to sell? Bob.
I got 20 shares of United Computer.
Okay, what are the bids?
$50.
52.
5,208.
Why does Pete need 5 cakes?
Because the kids earned a lot more money than we expected. Besides, you can't have them paying more than a couple thousand Whitman dollars for a cake.
Why doesn't he just tell them it's inflation?
He can't. He's got a lot more sympathy for the government now. It's kind of hard to stop issuing money once you get started.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
The Ingerfood cake fell. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll make another one.
You know, I have absolutely no talent for cooking. I almost flunked my final exam in home economics.
Oh, yeah? How'd you do that?
Burned the salad. It's a little joke.
Cakes, money, that's what I've heard. Seymour, I don't like it. Now, wait a minute. Aren't you jumping to conclusions just a little bit? I mean, you've only heard one side, right?
No, wait a minute. I am a progressive man. I don't need to remind you that our school system was the first one in this state to introduce a course in sex education.
I know that.
This money program, it's just too unorthodox.
Well, how do you know you have... I'll tell you what. Look, the class is in session right now. Will you look at it?
It isn't necessary.
Mr. Ross, we've got to give our teachers a chance to innovate and develop new teaching methods. Now, we can't just stop them before we give them an opportunity to show what they can do. Can we?
Jerry West helped the Lakers defeat the Celtics 102 to 101 last night. West scored 38 points in leading the Lakers to their 3rd win in a row.
That's very good, Tully. Very good.
Thanks. I owe you something.
What do you mean?
Well, remember when you first came into the class and you said you'd have me reading and I bet you wouldn't?
Yes.
Here's 10 Whitman dollars. I figure that squares us.
Okay, Tommy. Well, I guess you're all ready to buy some cakes now. But before we begin, I want to say something. We've had a lot of fun in this class. First with real money, then with the Whitman dollars. But the important thing is whether your reading has improved. And it has. Arlene, your last test showed an increase of up to a year in your reading level. Michael, you've improved enough so that you're ready to leave the class.
But I don't want to.
All of you have improved. Anywhere from several months to a year. Now, we all know that this has been an experiment and we may not be able to continue it. So let's be honest. The funny money and the cakes are kid stuff. You don't need them. You'll be paid plenty just to go to high school.
What do you mean?
$100,000. That's how much more the average high school graduate makes than the guy who doesn't go to school. That means that each year of school is worth $25,000 to you. So if the Whitman dollars got you excited, just picture the real thing crossing your palm. However, most of you have discovered that money is not the real reason to learn. It's exciting just to get involved, to find out more about people, places, about yourself. Well, reading and education lets you do that. And the money's just a bonus. Now, what do I hear for this beautiful McIntyre chocolate cake?
$300.
400.
500.
Hey, come on, give me the cake. Give me the cake.
Yeah, one for me.
Big piece for Jack here. He needs it.
Hey, man, watch your mouth. But make it big, Michael. Hey, I thought I was next.
Give me the cake.
How much you want?
$20 Whitman here.
Come on, Michael.
You know, Seymour, I'd like to meet this Mr. Dixon.
Of course. Mr. Dixon, Mr. Ross, our superintendent in charge of curriculum.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you. Tell me, Mr. Dixon, these figures you were quoting about the reading achievement, are they accurate?
Yes, they are.
Good. Well, they must keep an eye on this.
You mean you like it?
Well, I didn't say that, but I am sufficiently impressed with what I saw to, let's just see how far it'll go.
It's good. It's fine.
Oh, would you like some cake?
As a matter of fact, I would, but I don't have any Whitman dollars to buy it.
You don't have any Whitman dollars? Well, would you like to read something for us?
I'd love to.
You two girls can bake me a cake anytime. I was so impressed that I'm considering recommending to the Board of Education that principals get cakes to inspire them.
I thought you were on a diet, Mr. Carter.
Oh, boy, don't remind me. I gained 3 pounds. Do you believe that? My doctor is an incompetent sadist.
Hey, not to change the subject, but isn't it amazing how well some of those kids did?
Yeah. Not only that, not only reading, some of them showed a remarkable talent for making money on the stock market.
Is that right?
Yeah. See that kid over there? If he'd been using real money, he would have made over $1,000 this month.
Is that right? It's amazing. What's his name?
Michael.
Michael. I understand you're doing very well at investing in Mr. Dixon's class. It's very commendable.
Thank you.
In view of the current market situation, what looks good to you? Do you think computer stocks are oversold?
That's your carburetor.
Well, do you think I need a new one?
Oh, I don't think so. Just clean up a little, be okay. I think you might need some plugs, though.
Got it all doped out, huh?
Well, it looks like I'm in good hands.
Bernie, it's the best we got.
Oh, no, not again.
Here we are again, Mr. Blackwell. I know we're the two people in the world you most wanted to see.
First my bursitis, now this.
Mr. Blackwell, we wanted to give you another chance to yield gracefully. We're basically a non-violent group. WARP is committed to the concept of peaceful reform whenever possible. We're hoping today you might see the justice of our position.
I already gave you my answer, girls.
Oh, excuse me, Sandy. Did I hear you say warp?
That's right, Mr. Dixon. That's the name of our organization. WARP. Women are real people.
Oh, I didn't know there was a debate on that point.
No? Well, let me ask you, Mr. Dixon. Shirley would like to be an automobile mechanic. She wants it just as much as any boy here. Now, why shouldn't she be allowed to take this course?
I don't know, Sandy. Mr. Blackwell here is in charge.
This is a boys' shop. It's a boys' course.
All right, Mr. Blackwell. I'm sorry you can't see things more reasonably. I think you'll agree we've given you every chance.
You see, if you all talk at once, I can't understand you. Sandy, suppose you speak for your group.
Well, why shouldn't a girl be a mechanic if she wants to? You know, Mr. Kaufman, what it's like to get your car fixed right. First, you have to make an appointment as if you're going to see your pediatrician, for goodness sake.
Right, it takes
It's been years since I've seen my pediatrician.
And then half the time, the only real work they do is add up the bill. You never can be sure they fixed anything.
That's not true. Let her finish.
Why this indifference to the customer? Because the demand for mechanics is greater than the supply, because they're all men.
That's right.
Okay. Mr. Blackwell?
Okay, let's switch things around a bit. How would you like it if some boy wearing an apron came into your cooking class?
We had one last week.
Oh, by the way, how's Ferguson doing?
Wonderfully. Yesterday he got his omelet to rise.
Good for Ferguson.
Do you realize what would happen if we tapped this huge reservoir of women power? What that competition would do? Do you realize how many women mechanics are at this very moment washing dishes or changing babies? Free those women. Then you'd see the men tighten up and do a job.
Yeah, that's right.
Then who would wash the dishes and change the babies, may I ask?
Don't ask.
What lie is there that says that only women...
Miss Adams, my turn. Now, this may come as a great shock to everyone, but you're not going to get an argument out of me.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
I agree with you that there is nothing in the school rules that says that a girl may not elect the automotive course. I only wish you'd come to me sooner. We could have avoided a lot of sound and fury. Now, John, I'm sure that the presence of one young lady in your class is not going to constitute a serious disruption.
That's easy enough for you to say. But how am I going to get the boys to keep their minds on cars instead of girls?
What makes you think they ever have? By the way, which one of you girls is the mechanic?
Shirley.
This pretty little thing?
This pretty little thing isn't big enough to drive a car.
Shirley's not a thing, pretty or otherwise.
Women are real people. W-A-R-P.
Why don't we save that for music class? As for you, young lady, do you know that there is a serious shortage of female conductors?
That's quite true, Mr. Kaufman. Thank you for the suggestion.
Now, Shirley, you'll report to Mr. Blackwell tomorrow.
Oh,
All right. Thank you, one and all. Goodbye, everybody. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Hey, wow, we won. They hardly even put
they never fight. They just patronize us.
Sandy? Hi, here are your notes. That stuff on H.G. Wells was just what I needed. Now all I have to do is figure out who H.G. Wells was.
Could you read them any easier this time?
Oh, I got your handwriting down now. As soon as I figured out that you cross your I's and dot your T's. What are you, Aries?
No, just difficult.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm Pisces.
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius. Are we compatible?
H.G. Wells. He was essentially a teller of tales. Now, George Bernard Shaw was a creator of memorable characters. Now, of all the English writers, Shaw was the creator of great heroines, like Cleopatra, St. Joan, Mrs. Warren, and Major Barbara, all of whom are what we would call emancipated women. You know, Sandy, you and the girls have been caught up in women's lib would really appreciate Shaw's attitude toward women. He was a great champion for women's rights in his day, you know? One of the things he said was, women are only called womanly when they regard themselves solely for the use of men. Bernie?
Well, that is very interesting. Well, what does it mean?
Well, it means that men have always tended to look upon women as sexual objects first and people second. Okay, now, what are you laughing at? Women want respect. They want to be thought of as equals. They don't want to be looked upon as just a pair of legs or a pair of... All right. Bernie, how would you feel if when you went walking down the street, girls whistled at you? See, you'd be flattered for a minute, but you wouldn't feel very respected, would you?
Well, if they don't want us to look at their legs, how come they're all the time showing us?
Here they come. Hey, sweetheart, how's about you and me engaging in a little heavy breathing?
Ooh, I want a little one. Ooh, I love those little ones.
Hey there, beautiful bodies like yours are made, not born.
Now, will you tell us all about this harassment that the girls of Warp have been giving you?
Well, after that young girl pinched me and made suggestion remarks about my body, I cried and cried right through deep knee bends.
I plan to take karate lessons. And heaven help the next girl who dare lay a hand on my knee. I'm not hostile. I just want respect.
I know I have beautiful legs, but I want to be appreciated for my mind.
Well, at first I thought it was pretty humiliating, but I guess I can get used to being treated as a mindless sex object. Well, you know me, I never had much ambition anyway.
And finally, George Vincent remarked simply, what kind of a boy do they think I am anyway? What a burn.
Well, but you know what they say, it's just publicity. Besides, I think it's kind of funny.
Of course it's funny. That's just the trouble. Everything we do is just ho-ho time. Men just laugh at us. And the more serious we become, the funnier they think we are.
Sandy. Hi. I've been meaning to tell you, I think what you girls are doing is just fine. Keep it up.
Thanks, Miss McIntyre. That helps a little.
Why, what's the matter? You are into something good.
Oh, Miss McIntyre. I mean, you're really nice and everything, and encouraging. But you're a woman. To the men, we're just a joke. No matter what we do, they just won't take us seriously.
Well, now remember, you've got a few thousand years of history to undo. And there's always been something funny to first-class citizens when second-class citizens start yelling for the same things. So give yourself some time. Find an issue that really hits the men where they live, and they won't laugh anymore, I guarantee.
Well, you're right. I know I'm impatient. It's just that I don't know why we have to wait.
I know what you mean. Right on.
Can we have a ball, please? Pretty lucky.
I'll do it again if you want.
Again? So now far away that is?
Give me the ball. Let her try.
Shoot me the ball, will you? Good shot.
Yeah. See you around.
Yeah, see you around.
Did you see that? Hey, Helen, where'd you learn to do that? I don't mean the shot. I mean the boys. Did you see their faces? What'd you see on their faces?
Well, they were surprised.
I'll tell you what you saw on their faces. Respect.
Look, I got a B+ on that test on H.G. Wells. That is the best grade of my entire life. And I owe it all to you. Of course, I crossed my I's and dotted my T's, and Miss Johnson couldn't read it, but...
Larry, we want to get Halloran on the basketball team.
Well, that's not hard.
I mean the boys' basketball team.
That's hard.
Oh, Larry, will you coach her? She can shoot like you can't believe. It's just that she needs some help on some of the other parts of the game.
What is this, your Amazon Society's latest blow for women's liberation? Why are you laughing?
Because you're not.
All right, Halloran, let's warm up a little. Let me see you move. Take it easy, relax, take a few shots. A little out of shape. That's out of shape? Where did you learn to play like that?
Oh, I've got 4 brothers. We've always played together.
Uh-huh. And you really want to play on the team?
I'd love to play.
And why shouldn't she play with the best if she's good enough?
That's cool, that's cool. Secret weapon. Opposition collapses in confusion.
Listen, I'm worried about the opposition on our team.
But Halloran, that's just the point. Where's the victory without opposition? A little bit of luck, the boys will hit her gut.
I can hardly wait to see the expression on Coach Windish's face. All right, Halloran.
You can call me Hal.
All right, Hal. Let's try a few moves. Man-to-man defense. You should pardon the expression, but try to score on me.
All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I want you to form a single line behind the midcourt stripe. As the ball is passed to you, sound off with your name loud and clear and go in for a layup. All right, you got that?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. Yeah. Wilson.
I don't see Halloran.
You see Larry Silverstreet?
Yeah.
Right behind him.
Jamaican.
Oh, she looks just like one of the boys to me.
Silverstreet.
But what about her voice?
Halloran.
Hey, you. What'd you say your name was?
Halloran, sir.
Let's see you do that again. Hey, nice shot. Good boy. All right, that's it for now. Practice tomorrow, same time. The following men report to me. Evans, Silverstreet, Howard, Halloran. Girls? Girls, Now, come on, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here anyway. Now, if you can't hold it down, I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. We can't run a practice here. I can't hear myself think. What are you doing here?
I've been here. I was in the scrimmage.
Oh, what are you talking about, the scrimmage? What's your name, young lady?
Halloran, sir.
But you can't take her off. You gotta give her another chance.
What do you mean I can't take her off? You see how I'm taking her off? She's off.
Mr. Kaufman, you see, that proves it. Mr. Windish had Halloran on the roster, and he's only cutting her because she's a girl.
If she's good enough, why can't she be on the team?
If she wants to play basketball, let her play on a girls' team.
But she's good.
I don't care if she's good. She's not going to play on my team.
Ah, Mr. Windish, at the risk of bringing up a sore subject, when you consider the record this team has had the last 3 years, I don't think we can afford to pass up any candidate.
Put that girl on the team, we'll be the laughing stock of the whole league.
Not if you won a few games.
All right. Dixon, you want to be the coach? You be the coach.
I honestly haven't heard one real reason for keeping Halloran off the team as long as she qualifies.
Because she's a girl.
That's not a reason.
Okay. I think I've come up with a way to settle this thing if Mr. Windish will go along. Why don't we ask the boys from last year's team if they'd be willing to have a girl in their midst?
Absolutely. I got nothing against that. I know how they'll answer.
Okay. Let's take the vote. How many of you go along with Mr. Windish and would like to have an all-boy team? It's 5 against. Is there any point in asking if anyone is for having Miss Halloran join? Well, a hand.
Silver Street.
Miss Adams, afraid that settles it. I guess there's just a few pockets of resistance that still aren't willing to be liberated.
Listen, Sandy, a general can't go into mourning for every soldier that falls in battle.
Oh, go slam dunk your head.
Are you crying?
Yes. And often, and when I'm not smoking cigars or lifting weights, I laugh and cry, almost like a real human being.
Sandy, I'm sorry it didn't work out.
Tell Halloran that, will you? I can't face her.
She knows how you feel.
Well, you did all you could.
What do you mean all I could? I did better than I could.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah, but how's the girl to move up here for the rebound? Well, what makes the difference? I mean, you've got to admit she's the best shooter you've ever seen.
So what do you guys got to be scared of?
Scared? Well, who's scared?
How'd you make out with your car?
Oh, just fine. That little girl really knows what to do with a carburetor.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I knew I'd never get out. Hello. What can I do for you, boys?
Mr. Kaufman, we wanted to talk to you about that girl, you know, Halloran or Halloran?
Yeah, yes, sir, Halloran. That is, we've been thinking, what do we have to be scared of?
Are you scared?
No. I mean, we just thought it was very weird to have a girl on the team, that's all.
No, what happens if she turns out to be better than you guys?
Better. She's just a girl.
Just a girl.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why don't you just give her a chance anyway? Otherwise, it makes us look bad.
Like we're scared.
Yeah, just give her a chance.
After all, what do you guys got to be scared of, right?
Right. That's just the way we feel about it, Mr. Kaufman.
Halloran. That's the team. Now, the rest of you guys, you keep trying, you hear?
Let's see. Munson made it. Email. What is this? Really?
Larry,
Oh, hi.
it was an oversight, wasn't it? A mistake? I mean, you were on the team last year.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
Was it because of Halloran?
Actually, it was because I wasn't good enough. Or serious enough, that's my problem.
Well, it's a way to get by. I mean, if you don't take things too seriously, then you can't get hurt.
That's right. That's right on the button.
Look, why don't we go out together? Maybe over the weekend. Go to a movie or something.
Why, you feel sorry for me?
Well, if I do, it's because I have a tendency to take things too seriously.
Only if you promise to keep your hands to yourself.
I'm not making any promises.
Egad, Silver Street, the woman is mad for you. Absolutely mad for you. But wait a minute. Think about this for a minute. Are you ready to become involved? What about your life, your career, your ambitions? Are you ready to tie yourself down to this creature of lust? Remember, men are only called manly when they regard themselves solely for the use of the women.
Here's old 10 miles to the gallon. Where's that girl Shirley that did such a great job on your car? She's not here. Not here? This is sixth period, isn't it? Right, but she left the course. She left the course? She wanted to be near her boyfriend. I didn't know she had a boyfriend. She does. I think his name is Ferguson. Ferguson, that kid in cooking class? Now she's in cooking class. Now she's in cooking class. Pete, you know what I feel like right now? I feel like smoking a big, fat cigar.
Did you say something?
Well, I said my name is Larry Ellison. I've been wanting to meet you, and I didn't know how, so I figured the best way was to plunge right in, even if I make a fool of myself.
That took a lot of courage, Larry.
Well, I've been sitting over near that tree eating my lunch by myself since the semester started. And if I didn't meet you soon, the semester would be over, and I'd have to wait all summer for another chance. Did I say something wrong?
I think it's just because you managed to say everything in one sentence, which is quite a talent.
Well, it's not that I'm not used to talking to girls. It's just that it takes me longer to get acquainted.
I think you do just fine. Just fine.
Don't you know how bad Oh, hey, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't even see you. You know, man, you ought to wear a hat with a feather in it or something.
Why don't you look where you're going?
Woo! When you listen to the sounds that come out of it.
You're not very funny.
Lord, no, little fella. I mean, you the one who's breaking everybody up.
Don't call me little fella.
Well, baby, what you want me to call you, man? Moose? Hey, be cool, man. Be cool. Oh, wow. Look at that, dude. Let's get on out of here, baby, before Tiger here beats my brains out.
You didn't have to be so mean to him.
Mean? Was I mean? I thought I was pretty tolerant, considering I was the one who was attacked.
You started it. You provoked him.
Oh, look, baby, that little chump's been bugging everybody in school who's half an inch taller than he is. Look, if he wants to come on like such a big man, he's got to back it up with something more than his mouth. That was a joke. Come on.
And the clay streets of San Francisco became quagmires into which the city threw loads of brushwood and limbs of trees. As a result, mules stumbled in the streets and drowned in the liquid mud. Sometimes horse and wagon were swallowed up, the owner barely escaping. At the corner of Clay and Kearny, a sign was posted, "This street is impassable, not even jackassable." With that, class dismissed. Larry.
Huh?
Class is over.
Oh. Well, I was working things out in my head.
Like how to win friends and influence people?
He was making fun of me. He made me look like some kind of idiot.
I saw that little episode at lunch. Larry, don't you think you're taking this thing too seriously?
It happens all the time. People only like you for what you look like and not for what you are inside.
It's not always true.
I'm a shrimp and nothing can change that. I know, I've tried. I wore high-heel cowboy boots till I could hardly walk. I even tried stretching myself by hanging from the horizontal bar. But all I got from that was sore armpits.
You know something, Larry? A lot of short men have done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, like Mickey Rooney and Napoleon. It's no use. I'm doomed to be a 97-pound weakling.
I identify with him. I really do. I, too, was a shrimp.
Being a girl shrimp is not the same as being a boy shrimp.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, anyway, Larry needs something to build his self-esteem. He's uptight and it's affecting his studies.
If only Larry could have picked up that Vic Martin and given him a twirl.
Like Superman.
There's an idea. Why don't we put in a call to the planet Krypton, calling Superman?
It might not be such a bad idea.
What, Superman?
Karate.
Karate? Don't you think that's a little bit extreme? I mean, you don't want to turn the kid into a killer.
Karate doesn't turn people into killers. It's quite the opposite.
That's true. It builds self-confidence. I was very interested in that when I was in the service.
Look, karate is designed to give man a sense of self-worth. But more than that, it makes him peaceful and gentle.
Okay, blind side kick.
1, 2, and... Front stretch. Ready.
Height. 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 Height.
Okay, punching. Ready.
Height. 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 Height.
Okay, front kick. Ready.
Height. Height.
Ah, yes. What we expect is always greater than what we get.
Emerson?
Seymour call.
Don't worry. Larry will make it.
Sure he will. If those guys can make it, he can make it. I hope.
Okay, Larry, this is a kata, or design form, called Pyongan Nidan. It's a simulated defense against several attackers. Notice the yell, or the ki that he does. That's to help generate more power in his techniques. In this form, you're helping develop balance, coordination, power, endurance. You can see the tremendous power he's going through there. Fall in. Okay, everyone's dismissed except for Larry. I would like to work with you a little bit, Larry. Okay. Okay, let's work on that fighting stance now, Larry. Get down the fighting stance here. That's it. Okay, extend your left hand out in front of you. Oh, no, that's your right hand, Larry. Atta boy. Okay, now the right hand back to your side here and clench your fist very tightly against your side. That's good. Okay, now feel yourself balanced now. Okay. Whoop. See, now you don't want to put too much weight on that front leg. See, otherwise you get swept out from under you there. Okay. Okay, now you should be such a position now. If I push this extended fist, you shouldn't be moved. Okay? No. No. Oh, oops.
Oh, you were going to tell me about the time when you were in the service, something about karate.
Oh, yes, you're dying to hear about that, aren't you?
I'm sure I eventually will anyway.
Well, it was during World War II. I felt called upon to help a little Italian girl that was being molested outside of a delicatessen in Rome. I subdued the guy that was molesting her with a, what I call a double arm lock whammy.
A double arm lock whammy. See, she must have been very grateful.
Oh, yeah. She was so grateful she hit me over the head with a salami. That's good. The guy that was trying to molest her was her boyfriend.
That's it. Straight like that. Okay, let's try it now. Okay. Ready?
Height! 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 Height!
Good, good.
Shortage of good English teachers, you know.
Wow, sir, I didn't see you.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. But don't you think you're overdoing it just a bit?
Well, you know, you gotta keep loose.
Right! Yeah, you gotta keep loose, all right.
Yeah, because if you don't, you know, your muscle kind of tighten up.
Right! Yeah. How's it coming anyway?
Oh, fantastic. It's really the greatest thing I've ever done.
Good. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Ha! Ha!
Hi, Dixon.
Hi.
I was just telling Miss Johnson about working out at the dojo every day after school. You know, Chuck Norris is the world karate champion. He's fantastic. You know, he can take on 5 guys at a time. 5.
It's pretty great. What are those for?
The boards?
Yeah.
Come on, I want to show you something. These boards are 1/2 inch thick. And they're cut from ponderosa pine.
Larry, don't you think
I
this
place
is a
them
little...
together like this, which makes an inch thickness. Now what I'm going to do is simply chop these boards in half with one blow of my hand.
Mercy! Did you hear my man? He's gonna smash all those boards with his mighty hand.
You think you can do it?
No, man. Why would I want to do that? I might get a splinter in my pinky or something.
Well, I've been practicing karate for 3 weeks, see? And I can do it easy.
Well, show me, baby. Show me. Let me see your callus. Let me check you out. Baby, you can't do it. You ain't even got no callus on your hand. Everybody know you got to have at least 3 inches of callus on your hand.
Larry, it might be better if you showed me somewhere else.
I want to show him. I want to show him he can't push me around anymore. Any of them.
Dig him getting this thing together. Dig his concentration. Look out, y'all. He's gonna do it now. Shh. He's gonna do it.
To break boards, you have to combine concentration and inner strength and speed and power.
I'd like you to know I'm awfully sorry you hurt your hand.
It's fine. It's all right.
Well, the kids were kind of mean, but I hope you don't take them too seriously.
Heck no. I'm used to it.
I thought it was a very interesting demonstration. I mean, what you were trying to do.
I've done it before, lots of times. What happens to the best in karate.
You know, Larry, you don't really need karate.
Oh, yes, I do.
I mean, you're very interesting without it.
Haven't you had enough fun at my expense?
I wasn't making fun of you. I meant that.
Sure you did. Like you dig me for my character.
Something like that.
Look, I may be short, but I'm not an idiot. You better get back over there to the one you really dig before somebody else gets him.
How's your hand?
It's okay. It's not my hand that hurts.
I know. It's your pride. But it wasn't exactly a failure.
What would you call it?
Minor setback. You just got a little ahead of yourself.
Well, I did it at the dojo. I broke 2 boards.
Well, you can't exactly depend on that Ponderosa pine, you know. Maybe it was a little green.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe that's why it wouldn't break.
Maybe you both were a little green. But in time, with a little ripening, you should be okay. Just don't give up.
Give up? I won't give up till I'm a black belt.
Good.
What happened?
It was stuck.
Why didn't you holler for help like everybody else?
You know, you got him started on this stuff. Don't you think you better slow him down a little bit?
Well, you thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was going to turn into
A killer.
He hasn't hurt anybody, has he?
No, but if he keeps up like this, we won't have any doors left.
And I'm getting a tick in my face from those screams of his. Look, right here under my eyes, twitching. No, really, all the boys in my class think I'm winking at him.
Frankly, it worries me. A killer loose on the premises.
Oh, I think you're all just getting a little too uptight for nothing.
I thought you said this thing would make him more peaceful and gentle.
gentle. You call that being more peaceful and gentle?
Boy, Pete, you have created some kind of monster.
Pete, you know, we wanted him to have self-esteem, but what kind of self-esteem can he have when he's a joke to the whole student body?
Why, seriously, Pete, baby, don't you think he's becoming just a little bit obsessed? Like maybe he has some particular end in mind?
Like what?
I don't know, but the whole thing reminds me of David and Goliath. And you know what happened to that nasty old giant?
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I think you got it.
But just a couple more times, Mr. Norris. Please. I want to get it down perfect.
Well, okay.
This time, without the numbers.
Okay.
That was a pretty good throw you did out there.
It's my best one.
You think you could throw me?
Maybe.
How about Vic Martin?
I guess I could.
You know, Larry, the skill you're learning carries a big responsibility. I sure would hate to see you abuse it.
I don't think I know what you mean.
I understand how you feel about Vic Martin. He sort of represents all the big guys who ever put you down. But I would hate to see you use what you're learning to become the same kind of guy he is.
Hey, you were the one that turned me on to karate. Now you sound as though you don't want me to use it.
I know. But I never meant for you to learn the sport so you could get revenge on people.
What the heck is it good for then? You don't expect me to go around being a marshmallow when I don't have to, do you?
No. And by the same token, I don't expect you to go around trying to prove to people you're a big man either.
I have to prove something to myself, though. I'll meet you in the park across the street after school.
Hell nah. If it ain't my man, the Moose.
If you don't come, it's because you're chicken.
Baby, you got to be jiving.
You better be there, or I'll come looking for you.
I mean, he does have heart.
Just a man I want to see. Come with me. It's high noon out in the park. Larry? Who else?
Heard you was looking for me. Hmm? You had told me I'd have wore my pajamas too. Look out! God, see, you didn't think I knew all that. You see, baby, it's all in the yell. Look out. Wow. Woo! Oh, wow. Look at that dude. Great. Wow. Woo! Man, it's not fair. I mean, it's just not fair. Somebody could get killed messing with that karate or something. Oh, wow. Look at
that dude. You busy next Saturday night?
I'm afraid I am, Larry.
Well, how about Saturday after that?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I really thought you were great. But, well, I go with Ron Hensey.
Him?
Well?
I guess it didn't do me any good to prove how tough I am. She's going with a cat that looks worse than I do.
Fortunes of war, Larry.
And you were right about karate, too. I'm only going to use it to strengthen my inner character.
Right.
Peace.